CM Punk may hit people with the GTS, but it's quite clear that Jim Cornette has been hit with the TDS because he's got one of the biggest cases of Trump derangement syndrome I've ever seen. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Not a lot of news happening in the wrestling world, just like there wasn't a lot of news happening earlier today, so we have to talk about stuff outside of wrestling involving two wrestlers.
Which is to do with politics, brother. Politics is a touchy subject, but you know what? They're all a bunch of losers, aren't they, man? Especially like when when you see like anybody that votes Trump and Republicans when they're in the news regarding these reports, man, it's to do with like actual stuff. It's crazy. But see when you see like Jim Cornette, it's always over nothing. A literal photograph here, folks. We're not talking about like what Lance Storm wants.
If you just look at people in the wrestling world, look at how Glenn Jacobs, look at how Kane conducts himself and interacts and talks over politics. See when there's stuff Kane disagrees with, he will be able to have a conversation, you know, a fucking polite conversation, and he composes himself and he'll argue his talking points. I mean, look at Cornette. The guy doesn't have any talking points. He literally just sees somebody in WWE take a picture with somebody on the right, and he goes into meltdown mode, starts throwing insults, name calling. The guy is deranged, and this is like an older man, you know. It's like, come on, not that doing this at any age, to be honest, is acceptable, but the way Jim Cornette gets on when he's in his 60s, probably close to his 70s now, it's absolutely embarrassing. You know when you seen that, you know when you seen those memes, they went Trump won, and all those wee liberal people were like screaming at the sky and just looking pathetic. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Cornette was getting on like that.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either. We've seen him during the election. He was practically begging his subscribers and his followers not to vote for Trump, and he was like near tears in his eyes. He cut like a wrestling promo on it. It's honestly embarrassing, man. There's no two ways about it.
It's a mental illness.
No, it is, and it's like, I mean, basically what you're hinting at and what I hinted at earlier is a fucking photograph. You know, it's not even like we're talking about an issue here that's like, oh, you know, like death. Oh man, dictator this. I mean, we're talking about a photograph with Robert Kennedy fucking Jr.
No, but I'm just even the way like they interact, the likes, you know, Cornettes interact and how they discuss politics and how they like talk to the other side, and like especially for something like a photo, it's clear to see who the deranged ones are. It's clear to see who the mentally ill ones are, and who the insane ones are, and it's the side that Jim Cornette.
You're right, man. See, just looking from the outside in, you look at America, yeah, it's all across the world, the split in politics, right? But see, for every like mentally deranged person on the right, I think there's 1,000 mentally deranged people on the left, just based off social media and based what we can see in front of us.
Imagine, do you think a couple of years ago, if Trump took a picture, if Triple H took a picture with Kamala Harris, Kane would have been losing his shit over it?
Of course he wouldn't have. And it's the same reason, right? We're going to be talking about CM Punk here, pictured in Chicago outside of Trump Towers. Oh, no King's protest. What are me and him going to start screaming, oh, CM Punk, man, fuck him. Yo, I hope he dies. No, I'm not going to hope he dies, because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about his politics. You know what I mean? We'd vote Trump. We're from America. We like Trump. But does that, see what Punk votes, right, and Batista and Mick Foley, does that take away from what they've done as wrestlers? Of course it has.
But yeah, apparently Kane's got he was never any good. Big guy that can't wrestle, didn't contribute anything to the business, not a real legend.
Yeah.
Like the way, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, what did Jim Cornette say? So we had Triple H, he posted the picture with obviously Kennedy. And then they want to, strategize about upcoming President's Council on Sports, Fitness and Nutrition. That's what Triple H quoted on his picture. And then he says, thank you for having us. Always striving to do what we can do, whatever we can do, to help make our nation's youth as healthy as they can be. To which Jim Cornette replied, nothing wrong, by the way, not like Triple H came out and says, Kennedy, I love your politics and whatever, Trump's the man. Triple H didn't say that. Triple H he had a picture with Kennedy, and he just said that their goal is to help make the nation's youth as healthy as they can be. Now, you would think there's nothing wrong with that, but of course, Jim Cornette, he's got a problem with it. He said, quote, he responded to Triple H, quote, then perhaps don't help give credibility to a former heroin addict with a brain worm who eats roadkill and works tirelessly to take America back to a simpler time when now curable diseases killed large numbers of children. End of quote. So, obviously, Cornet isn't happy about Kennedy and the fact that he has been outspoken about vaccines, which honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing. If you still believe that COVID was like this serious thing where we had to be hiding in the house and it wasn't manufactured, then I don't know what planet you're living on. But also Kennedy, it's like the guy is clear. Like look at the shape he's in compared to that former head of the health department.
Oh, aye, night and day.
That man-looking woman that was like, she was severely obese. I mean, look at Kennedy. The guy works out. Guy eats healthy. He's working on trying to get all the bad ingredients and like added extras that's in American food. He's trying his best to get like organic foods and take away basically all the shite that is in the products. How's that a bad thing? I honestly, how the fuck is that a bad thing? And Kennedy's a guy that was a Democrat for most of his life. But of course, Jim Cornette, I mean, he can't see that. He has to go with insults or a former heroin addict and all this stuff. It is mental because like the left always talk about forgiveness and kindness. Where's Jim Cornette being kind? Where's he being kind to Kennedy here? Bringing up shit in the past?
Yeah, I know. No, you're right, but obviously kindness only applies to one side.
I mean, obviously Cornette and his wife wouldn't know much about health and fitness, would they?
No, two fat bastards. But
Scott Steiner would say,
it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. It's not even a case of what Robert Kennedy does here. Right? He could literally cure cancer and every disease on the planet. Jim Cornette's not going to dish out any form of praise towards him. Of course he's not. That's just the way it works, man. And he talks about
and then he basically says he's trying to take us back to a time where loads of children are going to die.
I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, but I'm sure Jim Cornette. Get your vaccines. You know what I mean? And now young people are taking up heart issues at every bloody age. Doesn't matter if you're 5 or doesn't matter if you're 20. And when did that happen before? But Kennedy trying to get rid of vaccines and stuff like that.
Well, I
being open to the idea that they're bad.
I know who advice I would lean towards based on health between Jim Cornette and Kennedy. So,
aye, certainly not Jim Cornette, brother. But Jim Cornette.
I'd listen to Mr. Kennedy over Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette's a fanny, walking fanny, nothing more, nothing less. Every time
he's deranged. He's absolutely deranged. Like Say you want about foul Phoenix, right? When he goes off on stuff, at least he brings facts.
Yeah.
All Jim Cornette brings is insults and attacks.
That is a sign that you've lost.
Yeah.
When you have to make it personal, because you've got nothing factually to back it up.
Anyway, you know what? Screw Jim Cornette. Overrated. I know people want to say, he was a great mind in the business, big contribution. Probably was, maybe before our time, but I actually do not like Cornette. I don't like him personally. I think he's been this guy that has always acted like an absolute fucking man-child, and he has. He acts like a tough guy, but whenever he's like that time Santino confronted him, he almost had a breakdown and cried to get out of Santino's path. But like, see the way Jim Cornette acts. People give him a pass, and here, listen. I enjoy when people rant. Here, sometimes we rant about wrestling. But seeing you look over the years, like Jim Cornette, he has got on like an absolute Fruit Loop.
Yep. No, of course he has.
And a lot of times he's been given a pass over it.
Yeah.
But there's something clearly not right there with the guy.
No, he's fucked in the head. Like some of the stuff he says about Russo. Because Russo booked wrestling the way he didn't like it.
He said that it wasn't even a joke. I genuinely believe he means this. He says that one of his life goals is to outlive Russo so he can stand over his grave and take a piss on it.
Just because he booked wrestling different from what he would book it?
Because Russo liked entertainment stuff and would go for crazy, like over the top storylines, and Jim Cornette didn't like that. He wanted Smoky Mountain tag team matches with 20-minute time limit finishes. Fuck off, Cornette, you loser.
No, how insane's that?
talk about CM Punk, another loser. No, but honestly, Mick Foley, right? Arguably the biggest lefty there is. Mick Foley doesn't come across as deranged. I don't know what's wrong with Foley. You know, I think he's a kind-hearted guy that perhaps is... Because he's not dumb. I can't sit here... Mick Foley's not, like... He's not, like, unintelligent. So I don't know what Mick Foley's issue is, but Mick Foley doesn't go on like this. He doesn't treat people like this.
No.
Mick Foley and Kane were hugging, like, last week, taking a picture of each other.
I think Kane...
And those are two guys that are on completely different sides of the spectrum. I reckon Jim Cornette wouldn't piss on Kane if he was on fire.
Kane and Mick Foley are the embodiment of what politics should be and what it used to be when it wasn't so divisive.
I just agree to disagree.
Aye.
You can still be friends at the end of the day.
Yep. Because...
Would you want to be friends with Jim Cornette?
No, he's a fucking No, but... Yo, right? See, because politics is so extreme now, right? I'm not saying I'd understand it, right? But, you know, there can be some pretty divisive topics. But see, for Jim Cornette to basically, like, wish death on Russo before him, so just so he can piss on his grave because he booked wrestling a certain way, that is the height of a mental fucking illness, man. We don't like what Triple H is doing, don't like what Tony Khan's did, right? Some stuff that Vince did was questionable, etc., 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 right? I would never turn around and say I'd piss on his grave just because I don't... See the way Triple H is forcing the Viking Raiders and the Wyatt Six down our throat? I can't wait to bring those guys and I'll piss on his grave.
I personally wouldn't piss on anyone's grave because I think that says quite a lot about the kind of person you are. But if you were going to do it, it would need to be someone it would need to be someone that is seriously wronged you in your life. Like someone that has murdered your entire family or something like that.
Aye. Yeah.
You know, like it would need to be like some like massive, I don't know, criminal. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if you were like a school teacher and someone wiped out all your students or something like that, and you were close. I don't know. Like, you know, they took it. I just don't see how this guy over booking wrestling.
Yeah, and it's not like Vince Russo holds the same animosity towards Cornette.
No, he doesn't really care.
You know, Russo doesn't give a shit. I mean, I think it would be different if it came across like Cornette was defending himself, because Russo was also doing it, but Russo doesn't give two fucks about Cornette. He doesn't even address him. It's not, you know, it's not a tit for tat kind of thing. It's just a fucking mental illness with Cornette, man. Nothing else. That's it. No. But anyway, we'll move on. Fuck Jim Cornette. We gave him too much time. CM Punk.
Yeah, this is a guy that Jim Cornette no doubt will be praising and waxing lyrical over. So he stepped out in the No King's Day protest in Chicago. Chicago, aka a shithole. But apparently they're protesting because they're not happy. They think that Trump's overstepped the mark. Are they ever happy? Like, I mean, this is a bigger question. Like,
no, I don't think they are ever happy. But again, if it's a peaceful protest, I'm not going to sit here and you can't do it, brother. But CM Punk, he's entitled to do it, isn't he? I'm not going to sit here and cry.
Yeah, he is. I'm sure Jim Cornette's not going to lose his mind over this.
No, fuck, he'll be loving his life.
But you know, if there was a alternative to this on the right, like he'd be going batshit crazy.
Of course, he would batshit crazy. But it's obviously I think it was outside Trump Tower or something. I didn't know Trump had a tower in Chicago. I thought, I know he's got one in New York. I'm assuming he's probably got one in Miami or Florida or some kind. But Punk's in the streets. He was taking pictures with his fans. And was it any real surprise that CM Punk rocked up to Chicago? Probably not. But again, I mean, we always hear that. I mean, he replied to a comment that WWE's a MAGA. Do you think WWE's a MAGA company?
Absolutely not. Well, what do they do to suggest that?
Yeah, it's like, but Triple H, Triple H taking a picture with Robert Kennedy. But see, back in the day, right? See people that were like in power. It is normal for somebody in power to like take pictures, isn't it? Like Triple H being like one of the leading men in WWE. Is it not a normal thing that he would be taking a picture and talking with Robert Kennedy Jr.?
No, absolutely.
Even if they disagreed on even if Triple H is the biggest liberal known to man. And it would be vice versa. We've seen like what the whole McMahon family take a picture with like Trump inside the Oval Office. I mean, I'm not saying they don't vote Trump, because they do. I mean, McMahon definitely does, and Linda's obviously got a piece on the board, and it's just mental illness, man. But for CM Punk, he's getting stuck in Chicago, but No, I mean, what do you think was more likely? CM Punk voting for Trump or CM Punk going to Saudi Arabia, brother?
Here, maybe this is his guilt. Maybe he's like, oh God, I need to try and get,
I've got
I
to
need to
get
try and get
something
some,
back.
I need to try and get some credibility back among my fans that are saying I've sold out for the blood money. So, you know what? I'll bash Trump. That'll get them back on my side. But yeah, I mean, it was like last week. Cody Rhodes, Tiffany Stratton, and the Street Profits went to some like Trump army rally or some like speech or something like that.
It was I think it was Armed Forces Day, something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that.
But Trump is there because he's the president, and they're bashing Cody Rhodes and Tiffany Stratton because they're Trumpers. This company, they hate people.
Well, maybe
of
they
color.
are. So what? And so what?
Yeah, no, maybe they are. So what? But it's just like not everybody that's in the army was at that thing is going to be a Trumper. But you're right. So what? Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Oh, they're showing support to
but
the
see,
forces.
Trump can't win, right? If he goes, everyone there is condemned to being like an evil bastard. But if Trump doesn't go, he doesn't care about the army. He doesn't care about the army, guys. I mean, honestly, man, these people, they're fucking warped in the skull.
They're not right
And Jim,
in the hood. Jim Cornette's the biggest.
Yes, and Jim Cornette is the biggest embodiment ever, man. And he's a fucking shite baggy of man. But you're right. You ever see Kane, Val Venus, right? Guys that are very openly right. Look at the way how they conduct themselves, whether it's in an interview, whether it's in tweets. There's no. It is straight to the point, constructed criticism. Jim Cornette and the like. It's a
man-child rants at the end of the internet.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's just words.
Yeah, a lot of
caps.
Yeah, but we're only getting the tweet version. Imagine if you were getting like a video version of this. I bet he's sitting there losing his mind.
Yeah.
I think his wife's having to calm him down. Oh, Jim, take it easy on the keyboard. You're gonna break that thing.
No, it is, right. See what like 99% of the stuff that he speaks out against Cornet. It's a nothing burger, so he has to make it something. Right,
over the top.
Yes, over the top, capital letters, exclamation marks, yada yada yada. Anyway, fuck Jim Cornette, guy's a jobber, massively over fucking rated him, man. Oh, but he came out with a tennis racket with Owen Hart and Okasuna. Like, he can shove up his fucking arse, can't he? He's pish.
I don't rate him.
I don't rate him, brother. Anyway, till next time, peace.